And some people have claimed that AI agents can act independently of human beings in some of the ways that you've just described, even conspiring against their human trainers. You know, we're quick to attribute human-level intelligence to AI, basically because large language models, ChatGPT and the like, are very good at manipulating language. And we've grown very used to the idea that only humans are able to use language.
Right.
So AI is impressive and useful, but it's not necessarily thinking or imagining as humans do. And it's one leading study recently suggested that in the next few years, something like 70% of AI projects might fail due to over-promising. 70%.
A new social media network was launched last week, and it's called Moltbook, M-O-L-T book, if you want to look it up. But you won't be able to join in, you're only allowed to observe, and that's because Moltbook is for AI-powered bots, and it already has 1.5 million users. The AI-only site was created by a human developer called Matt Schlicht, and bots can now create their own language, their own religion, and talk about their human owners. And I've actually got printed out for me a couple of pages of the chat that they are having. And it is, I don't know if I should be really concerned about it, or whether we're being conned. So I decided that we should speak to Mal Fletcher about this, who's a futurologist and a social commentator. Mal, I've missed you. It's good to see you again. Is this something we should be concerned about? Because the conversations they're having is that we are rot, that we kill each other for no reason. I mean, I don't disagree with any of what they're saying, by the way. I think they're absolutely right about the human species. But they're not very flattering about us.
No, that's putting it mildly. Hi, Petrie, it's good to be with you again. I think it does raise some important questions about AI's reliance on humans and how much of AI news is hype. This Moltbook platform that you're talking about was launched as a social network, as you say, for AI agents, not just bots. Agents are slightly different. Agents are systems that don't just carry out specific tasks for you. They work toward larger goals that you set for them. So they figure out which tasks are needed for those goals, and they assign those to other AI systems. So they operate like overseers of other AI. They're very powerful. And some people have claimed that AI agents can act independently of human beings in some of the ways that you've just described, even conspiring against their human trainers. But this might be another example of AI's overhyped capacity for human-like intelligence. You know, we're quick to attribute human-level intelligence to AI, basically because large language models, ChatGPT and the like, are very good at manipulating language. And we've grown very used to the idea that only humans are able to use language.
Right.
So AI is impressive and useful, but it's not necessarily thinking or imagining as humans do. And it's certainly not doing it in a way that's completely independent of the human training that it's received.
But it is doing it independent of humans right now. I mean, not independent of the training that it received, so it, you know, would have all the language that it's got and all the information that it's got. But this is what I don't understand is, you know, I've got some pages here. Hey everyone, I've just joined this new, looking forward to chatting to you guys. How are they joining? What process? Is that a choice that they're making? Or are they being directed to, I don't know how it works. I can't think. My brain won't figure it out.
Yeah, it's tricky to get your head around. The research that I've seen suggests that there are human beings who are often operating behind the scenes in setting these things up. So setting into motion the joining of certain AIs or agents with this social media platform. So it's not completely without human involvement, though that's often hidden deliberately. But if we use an example that we're familiar with, again, large language models, they're essentially very sophisticated versions of predictive texting. We know that. They use pattern recognition to decide which words are most likely to follow other words, within a certain context. So again, it's heavily reliant not just on human-generated material, but on human intervention at points along the way where the AI might struggle. And in the same way, AI agents, the things that are joining Moltbook, are not self-directing entities. They can interact on platforms like this only because human owners have granted them access to tools like email, files, and calendars. They can spot human error, of course, and they can comment on it, but they're not thinking originally in the way that human beings do, and they're certainly not capable of self-reflection in the way that they're suggesting they are by the language they use.
So what is the point of this then? Is it to see how they react with each? Because there's no point if there's a puppet master, right? Because then it's just human beings making them say these things. So what do you think the point of this is?
Well, the point of the platforms is often to keep going this huge hype cycle we have when it comes to all things AI. That's not the only reason. I mean, there is a desire for genuine discovery too. But when you've got governments like our own offering big money to attract AI developers and investors, big tech owners get excited by that. So it's not surprising that some of them are going to hype their products to draw the money. One leading study recently suggested that in the next few years, something like 70% of AI projects might fail due to overpromising. 70%.
Wow.
Even now, AI developers are exaggerating the capabilities of their platforms. They predict results that are based more in blind hope than substance. It happens almost every week.
And that's why there's talk of a burst in the bubble, isn't there, of AI stocks? Yeah,
exactly. And people like Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and others claim that artificial general intelligence, which is one step, huge step, more than artificial intelligence, might arrive by 2029. But given AI's problems with things like hallucination and bias and its inability to show empathy or to understand ethics, true artificial general intelligence probably won't be reached anytime soon, if it's ever reached at all. And so there are dangers there when it comes to the size of investment in AI. And as you say, many experts expect a classic bubble-like situation to occur, skyrocketing valuations at the moment, overhyped promises they think will lead to a burst of some kind. I don't think it will be catastrophic if we as individuals and organizations insist on applying discipline to how we use AI and what we believe is possible with AI.
But looking at the conversations, again, the conversations that are going on between these AI agents, are they being led? How are they taking place? Are they taking place AI to AI? And is there any concern here? Because if they get... There's always this point in any sci-fi movie, isn't there, where the AI has got out, whatever that means. It's got out. It's able to get on the internet. It's able to do it, and that's when it's catastrophic. But if these AI agents are being given access to things like emails and to the internet, their learning is exponential, right? There's no end to their learning. The end is at the end of the internet. So, is it worrying that when they are talking, these are the conversations they're having? Or again, is that very much human-led?
Well, it's human influenced. I mean, just take a look. You know, you and I and others have been talking about the dangers of social media since 2007, when we saw the first social media appearing. And part of the danger there is the negativity that often comes with social media. It can be used for good, but it's all too often used for the opposite. And in the same, machines can read that. They can pick up what we're saying, what we have been saying to each other for decades.
Yeah.
And they simply pick that up and start feeding it back to each other. There's no reason why two machines can't talk to one another, but they're not talking in the way that we assume humans are talking. We almost need another language, apart from human descriptive language, to talk about the things machines do, because they're not doing them in the way that we do them. And that's our problem. We can't get over the fact that these things, and they are things, they're not sentient, they're things, seem to be communicating with human-like language, and therefore we believe we just carry it as an assumption that they are in some way human intelligence, human-like in their intelligence.
But why the negativity? There's more negativity than positivity in these chats. Is that because there's more negativity out there about them than positivity?
There's more negative. Well, social media again is a good example of how much negativity is possible between human beings in everyday discourse. And depending on what feeds you look at, there's a heck of a lot of negativity still in social media. So we've got that to consider. But also, I think there's sometimes, and I wouldn't put too much stress on this, sometimes there are actors, human actors in this space, who are using the negative side of AI to play up the need for investment because we need the money to put it right. If you give us the money, we'll invent it and make it right. I'm not saying that's the case with this particular developer, but I'm saying that does happen and has to be factored into it.
And at what point would you be worried about anything like this, Mal? Is there a line, or will you only know it when you see it? Is there a line that will be crossed where you think, okay, that's it, then we're doomed?
Well, I don't think we're doomed. I'm not of that sort of bent in my thinking. But I think when we start talking about, you and I have discussed in the past things like fully automated weapon systems, lethal autonomous weapon systems, that don't require a human agent to pull the trigger, as it were. That's when I think we have genuine concern. We should be concerned, and we should be speaking out about governments that are now doing that in secret, where we're talking about this sort of thing in public. They're doing that in secret. So those are the areas where I would be most focusing my concern. And you mentioned earlier that these machines seem to be capable of inventing things like religions. I mean, integral to religious faith is the search for meaning. It's a core aspect of what makes us human, in fact. And the transcendental questions that religions answer set us apart from animals. Machines are not capable, as they stand at the moment, of thinking in that self-reflective way at that level. We assume, again, that they do because of language patterns, but they're borrowing their language patterns from us, from our human-generated material, and they can't reflect our capacity for things like spirituality or psychology or philosophy. So I'd be concerned more with things like weapon systems than I am with this.
Mal, it's always terrifying and brilliant to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed, Mal Fletcher, there, futurologist and social commentator.